We have now had the Robinhood Managed portfolio for over a year. In today's video, we're going to be comparing it to the S&P 500. I want to see over this course of a year how this portfolio has done in comparison to just investing into the S&P. So if you're excited for today's video or you're just curious to see the numbers that go on here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those bell notifications for all future uploads. And again, of course, as always, feel free to take a look at the Fridge Financial memberships offered over on YouTube for some extra benefits and perks, and to also support the Fridge Financial's content creation that we have over here. So without further ado, let's get into the managed portfolio. Let's talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to compare it to the S&P 500. So the Robinhood Managed account, these came out, I believe they rolled this out at the summer of last year. I'm a little bit behind on this kind of video here. I opened up, I think, in June of last year. I think it was like the middle or end of June. So I'm a little bit behind on this video, which is totally fine still. But basically what it is, if you put money into this managed account, it is actively managed by people who work at Robinhood as licensed professionals, and then they're able to trade stocks and ETFs and whatever it is on your behalf. It's not quite like the agentic one where it's, Claude or ChatGPT, but it's real financial advisors and professionals that are licensed that are trading money on your behalf. Now, I took a lot of the money that I had here in this portfolio, and I took the money and I dumped it into this because, again, I don't like to actively manage this kind of, amount. I have my small accounts that's like, $12,000, $14,000 usually. That I'm usually managing because it's a lot more easier to manage the trades because a lot less money to deal with. This one has just been a portfolio that I've kind of just let ride and let invest. Now, comparing it to the S&P 500 is the huge thing because I could, in theory, have just taken this money here, parked it into the S&P 500 stock, or ETF, I should say, and then just been on my way and good to go. But, I wanted to try it out for a little while and see. And now that a year has gone by, we're going to look at it and see what the results are. So as you will see, we do in fact break down what they invested in. I have this set to very aggressive because obviously I'm only 30 years old. I got a lot of time on my side. So I have it set to a more aggressive approach for that reason. So a lot of money's in the U.S. stocks. You have a little bit in the international markets, a tiny bit in the bonds, and then you have 0.5% in cash. And you can click on this little dollar sign here. It tells you the amount of money broken down. As you can see, a lot of the money is invested into stocks and bonds, and I have $262 sitting in cash in this portfolio. And again, they actively manage it. They're trading things on my behalf. I'll get notifications about like a dividends coming in or whatever it is, and it goes right into reinvesting it in this portfolio. So I can't adjust it, but again, I'm trying to make sure that I get the most growth out of my money that I have. So we're hoping that this will do very, very well long term in the account. You can also click this nice little chart here, and it breaks down, showing you the allocations. As you'll see, again, a lot of money is in things like Nvidia, Microsoft. These are just examples, by the way. It's not all that money is into those two stocks, but it's like Nvidia, Microsoft. We can click on this one here, and it'll kind of break it down and show you exactly what it is. And you can also sort it by large cap, by small cap. So Nvidia is the highest position with 3.34%. Microsoft next highest, Apple, Google, Amazon. Basically, again, more of the stocks that you've seen. Some of these stocks I've never heard of before, like Ecolab, Freeport, McMoran, whatever that is. It's got a couple $100 in there. Eaton's got a couple $100 in there. Cleveland Cliffs, I think I've heard of that one. Cloudflare, AbbVie. So, you can kind of see the breakdown of this portfolio that we're looking at here, which I think, again, is very, very cool. Again, I'm a data guy. I like the numbers behind it. It's very, very awesome to see what is going on here. And again, the thing is, though, that people need to keep in mind about that, this does, in fact, come with a fee. There are fees associated with this. The only thing that I kind of like about it that I'm hoping to get to hopefully at some point in the future is that the fee caps at once you hit $100,000 of value in this portfolio here. So once you hit $100,000 in this portfolio here, that's when the fee caps. I think it's like 2.5%, or I gotta go back online and look it up. But if I'm managing $100,000 or they're managing $100,000 and they're managing $300,000, it's still the same fee, which is great. So that way you don't, once you get to that certain threshold, then the fee is gonna be the same no matter what, over and over and over again, which is very, very awesome for me. You cap your fees, just like, a lot of, management funds, brokerages, not brokerages, a lot of like management funds, investors, those fees are like 1% fee management fee. And again, 1% on either $1 million or $100,000. Robinhood's fees are a little bit structured differently, but there are fees still associated with this. And again, you can go onto Google and look up the managed accounts in Robinhood, and it'll break down the fee structure for you. And again, if you have Robinhood Gold, that definitely helps out as well for that reason. So that's just something that I like about it as well. What I also do like about it is that you hit this little future button right here, and it gives you a nice little breakdown of your future projections. So in the next 30 years, which again, that would put me at 60, which again is still a couple years before retiring. If I don't put another dollar amount into it, the most likely value of the portfolio is going to be $934,000. That's if I don't put in another dollar into this account. Okay, there's a range of 246,000 to 3.6 million. So there is a huge range here. And again, as you'll see, here's your compound growth shown, which is very, very cool. And you can also simulate what would happen if you do a monthly deposit, for example. Say I deposit, say we do like $100 a month, for now and for the next 30 years here. You now see that now I'm at $1.15 million just by doing $100 a month the rest of the year, or for the rest of the time I've invested for the next 30 years. If I wanted to say, try to, go a bit higher and go to say, $500 a month, for example, investing that one, I'm now looking at over $2 million as the most likely scenario. High end is $6 million, as you'll see there, and the low end is $670,000. So I like that that's there because it allows me to kind of visualize what my account's going to grow to over time. And again, these are not guaranteed numbers, but it's a nice little just visual to kind of help out a little bit with knowing where we're going. That's what I like about it as well. So that's what we're looking at. And again, taking a look at the returns, year to date, the managed account is up 6.71%. And if you're sitting there saying, oh, well, fridge, is that good? If you take a look at the S&P 500 return, they are up currently 10.51% according to Google here. I don't know if that's after hours included or not, or when the market closes, but it's 10.5% on the S&P. We are now sitting at 6.71%. So we are underperforming the S&P for the year to date so far. Taking a look at the last 1 year, we're up 19.69% compared to the SPY, which is up 20.83%. So about 1% behind, give or take. Again, this is also factoring in when you click on this, it factors in your fees that you see here. Here's your management fee right here, $120. So appreciation was $8,000. $696 was an income, so like dividends, those kind of things. And then $120 taken out gives me the net that we have left over, which is $8,624, which is what this one is. So we're up 19.69% over the last year or so. So we're underperforming it by about 1% right now. And people might say, oh, well, Fred, 1% is not a big deal. It can be, as you do 1% every single year, for example. If you did 1% every year, you're looking at 10, 20, 30% over, 30 years. That could be a huge problem that we're looking at. You get all-time here. As you'll see, I opened it up on June 17th here, and I started off right again. As you can see, I have $43,000 invested into it at the very, very beginning, and it has made almost $10,000 all-time, which again is still very good. 22% return in about a little over 1 year. I cannot complain about that, let me tell you. But from June 17th, so we take a look at the SPY over here. Let me go back to June 17th of 2025. I don't think I can go to that one. I'll go to like June 11th, for example. And as you will see, from June 11th of last year, this year, the S&P is up 21.06%. We're up. I mean, we're basically about break even. I feel like, or about the same. Let's take a look. Let me see if I can pick another one here. Let's do. I think I did July by accident. Oops. Let's do. I don't know, June 13th, which is right before it. So June 13th. Sorry, I was out in July. I just woke up, so that's, it is what it is. It happens sometimes. But from June 13th, which is a couple days before the brokerage account opened up, till July 10th, which was Friday, it's up 26% for the S&P 500, and we're only up about 22.3%. And again, you can see the fees taken out. We've had $123 in fees taken out here. We've made $9,500. So what does that mean? We are underperforming the market right now by about 3.5-ish, maybe 4%. So far, again, that's me missing out on potential gains if we just take that money and parking it into the S&P 500 ETF. which I could be doing. I think, again, where my logic is now is, again, I haven't put any more money into it. Here's kind of like how I'm going to be staggering out, now that the wedding's taken care of and now that we're all set and ready to, move forward with things now as husband and wife here. The goal for me now is to do the following with my investments. First thing I got to do, max out my Roth IRA. That's got to get maxed out because that's tax advantages. That's a retirement account. I'm going to max that out first. Once that gets maxed out, next up is to probably put more money into my managed individual account, which is this one right here. Now, yes, there are taxes that we got to pay on this every single time, like every year if they're buying and selling shares. The good thing is, though, with the taxes for this one, obviously the Roth IRA has got tax advantages. This does not. This does, in fact, take into effect what stocks we're selling to do the most benefit of taxes. So it does a pretty good job of that one. It does tax loss harvesting, which is very, very nice for me as well. So it really does manage a lot of it by itself. The people behind Robinhood that do this, not just me. So then I'll be probably putting some money towards this individual first. I would like to get this individual one up to that $100,000 mark at some point in the future, because that way I can then get capped on my fees, and then maybe that'll be the time where that's where the crossover might happen, where we can start outperforming the S&P because of the limited fees we're paying. I don't really quite know. Only time will tell, but I still want to keep running this for now and see what happens. If the gap becomes very, very wide, then we're going to be having a little more situations and maybe reevaluating it. But again, I haven't put any money into it. I just threw a lot of the money I had in my accounts. I put it all into here, and I'm up, $10,000 almost, which again, not bad. I'm not complaining. We're a couple percent behind the S&P, but we shall see what happens in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did make this far in the video, as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those bell notifications for all future uploads. This is me comparing the managed individual account to the S&P 500 after 1 year of investing. We are a little bit behind, but that's okay. Only time will tell, though, of course. So we're going to do another update in the next year and see where it goes. So again, I hope you're making money in the market in some way, shape, or form. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.